From Hong Kong to Moscow, America's fugitive on a commercial flight, out of sight and seemingly untouchable. Edward Snowden has, it seems, given everyone the slip. No sign at arrivals. Instead, a diplomatic car, diplomatic cover, and an Ecuadorian flag, a clue perhaps to his new home. This is a perfectly managed intercontinental escape. And this is where that journey began, Zone D of Hong Kong International Airport and the Aeroflot check-in desk. Mr. Snowden would have been here shortly after 9 o'clock in the morning for that 11 o'clock flight. Of course, he was entirely free to leave Hong Kong because against all the hopes of the United States government, the Hong Kong authorities chose not to issue the arrest warrant. Just yesterday, the Americans issued this crime sheet. They hoped it would be enough for Hong Kong to bring him in, but the authorities here asked instead for more details on his crime. It bought him time, and he fled. Here and in hiding for 2 weeks, the expectation had been that he'd remain here and fight his case and his future in court. Lawyers, though, think that in the end, he considered the risk simply too great.
If I was in his shoes, I think I would have left too, for the reason there is an extradition treaty, and he was gambling on the outcome of a possible legal case, legal challenge to the extradition, whereas in a non-extradition country there's no risk of that. But it is somewhat surprising, given his own statements, that he was going to stay here and fight the extradition through the Hong Kong courts.
Leaving American soil in Hawaii, Snowden chose Hong Kong as his refuge. It bought him time and a platform to be heard. His flight to Russia is easily explained. Moscow has no extradition treaty with America. It's the only safe route for him to his final destination. Initial speculation suggested he'd choose Iceland, another liberal state where he might find protection. But it seems he's heading via Cuba to Venezuela or Ecuador, where the governments are about as anti-American as they get.
He's clearly going to try and seek somewhere where there is no extradition treaty. That does not follow, of course, that a government or a country which does not have an extradition treaty won't in the end decide, nevertheless, to hand them over. All it indicates is there's no automatic obligation.
In a statement posted online while he was in the air, WikiLeaks and the man behind that, Julian Assange, confirmed that they were giving him legal and financial support. WikiLeaks representatives were on the flight, along with diplomats, presumably from Venezuela or Ecuador. And so one man's decision to reveal what he thought was wrong now has global diplomatic implications. From Venezuela to Cuba, China and Russia, this is being used as welcome propaganda at America's expense.
It's quite a pleasure for him to challenge United States, to embarrass United States, to insult United States, to humiliate United States. So this Mr. Snowden present in Moscow, however short, gives a golden opportunity to Kremlin.
It is now an international wrangle. Governments have been embarrassed, relations have been strained, and a privacy debate has been prompted. But the man who sparked it all remains hidden and even further from America's grasp.